You're listening to the Post-Apocalyptic Media Podcast. If it's post-apocalyptic, we're talking about it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this 57th episode of the Post-Apocalyptic Media Podcast. I'm your host, Sean, Senior Editor at Post-Apocalyptic Media. You can find us at postapocalyptic.com. And so this week's news, right? We didn't really do news last week because we covered the kind of year in review, Derek and I. And if you missed that episode, definitely check that out because that was fun. We got to talk about our favorites, our not so favorites, and we also talked about the Boomy Awards, which is our our kind of award little thing. I want to say show, but it's not really a show. It's like an award post about our favorite stuff from the year, and the whole crew at Post-Apocalyptic Media. We vote on our favorites. We put it in kind of like this crazy like numerical scoring system and it's actually a lot of fun. I really look forward to it every year. So yeah, definitely check that out. And then the post that has all those winners and everything is from, let's see, end of December. So it came out a couple weeks ago now, but definitely check it out if you're curious about kind of the best stuff that happened last year. And speaking of the best stuff that happened, how do you like that? Stephanie just wrote a post about the best post-apocalyptic TV shows in 2022 that you don't want to miss. Now, this is something that we do every year. We try to do this every year. And it's basically showing what we can expect. This one is specifically for TV shows. It has it's not just new shows. It's everything, when there's like a new season coming out, like the new season of Snowpiercer, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. The new season of Raised by Wolves, new season of Handmaid's Tale, right? And then there's some new ones too. We have the show on Netflix called All of Us Are Dead. That's going to be coming out actually the end of this month, January 28th. There's supposed to be a Tales of the Walking Dead, which is like an anthology series for Walking Dead fans. It's supposed to be coming to AMC in the summer of this year. Not really sure when. So yeah, if you're looking to find out, what kind of TV shows you can see that are in this genre, that either are coming out this year or next year. Some of them we don't really know for sure, but just kind of upcoming stuff. Definitely look for that post. And also, I'm going to be working on a movie version of that article next week. So, the most anticipated, not even the most anticipated, but just all the upcoming post-apocalyptic movies. So that you could look for that next week. Most likely. We'll see when I can get that done. But yeah, that's always exciting. It's always an exciting thing to not only to kind of talk about what's coming up, but just to realize there's a lot coming up. It's always fun to do that. Okay, so our next little bit of news here is there's this trailer that just came out, and it's called Moonfall. It's if you could guess what a movie called Moonfall would be about, I'll give you 3 guesses. Let's see. A falling moon would be the correct answer. Moonfall. So it's a movie about the moon gets kind of knocked out of orbit, and the moon has a crazy orbit anyway. I'm sure everyone already knew this, but the way it orbits the Earth, it's always facing us. So that's why they say there's like a man on the moon, because it's always that same face. And then that's why they say there's a dark side of the moon, because it's not just a Pink Floyd album. It's actually a thing. Dark Side of the Moon is because we don't see that side of the moon. It's crazy. Anyway, so that has to do with the orbit of the moon around the Earth. Well, in this movie, it gets knocked out of whack. It's heading straight for Earth, and it's up to these guys to stop it. It's like Don't Look Up, which I think I talked about 2 podcasts ago, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie on Netflix, which since I saw that, and since I was giving it a a review, kind of a mediocre review. I don't know. I guess I probably gave it like a B. I think I might have even given it a letter grade. I think I gave it like a B- or something like that. But ever since then, it seems like it's going crazy. Like, people are all talking about this movie. They're talking about, I mean, it's polarizing, which is funny to me. I mean, there's people who absolutely love it and people who absolutely hate it. Leonardo DiCaprio himself has said he didn't like the role at first, and other people on the cast have kind of teased that a little bit. Like Jonah Hill was saying in an interview that Leonardo DiCaprio was saying he didn't like playing the dirtbag, and I won't spoil it or anything, but he didn't like the playing the dirtbag part in that movie. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I think it had a good message overall. I think a lot of that was lost though, and it became too kind of silly political, So that is a tangent. That is a complete tangent off of this Moonfall, because it's a very similar movie. But Moonfall is coming out February 4th, which is just a couple weeks away. And it actually stars, I forgot his name, but it's the guy who plays Samwell Talley in Game of Thrones. They call him Sam. He's part of the Jon Snow's crew. So he's kind of the main star. He's the one that finds out that the moon is, out of orbit, coming straight for Earth. And, the rest of it is kind of what you would figure, where everyone's panicking. They're trying to figure out what to do. So it's funny. It's like an apocalyptic movie more than a post-apocalyptic movie, right? So, but it still counts, right? It's still something I can talk about. And not only is it something I can talk about, it's something that I can grow tangents from, where I talk about Don't Look Up, right? That's always fun. All right, this next little tidbit of news here. There were actually a couple game reveals this week. One of them was for Far Changing Tides. And Far Changing Tides, if that doesn't sound familiar to you, there was a game that came out in 2019 called Far Lone Sails. We talked about it really early in one of our first podcasts when we started. I guess we started in, I think it was probably late 2019. I think like October or September, somewhere around there is when we first started this podcast. That's basically when this game came out, the original one. It's a game, so Far Lone Sails is a game about maintaining a vehicle that that's sail powered, but you're going across the desert, you're going across a wasteland, it's post-apocalyptic, and you have to maintain this vehicle. You have to keep it going. So it's like this mini game within a game where you're surviving, but you're also keeping your vehicle going. Well, that was such a hit, and it was such a cool, a cool idea, a cool premise, that they made a sequel called Far Changing Tides. As you can imagine, something called Changing Tides would be in water, right? So this is kind of like the same general idea as Far Lone Sails, but now you're in a boat. You're in this ship, and you have to keep it maintained. You have to keep it going and fueled and all this stuff. It looks cool. I mean, I haven't played either of them. I wanted to play Far Lone Sails when it came out. I never did. Maybe this will be my chance. Maybe this will be the one that I actually play. So we'll see about that. But yeah, that is coming out. Actually, well, I don't think they have a date yet. They might have a date, but I don't see a date here. But the important thing here is that it's coming out on Xbox. And some people are saying, although it's not on the Xbox store, they're saying it might be coming to Game Pass. That would be cool, because I have Game Pass, and I would play this game if it came. Actually, I would stream this game if it came out on Game Pass. So how about that? All right, next little bit of news. This is another game trailer reveal, or game reveal. It's called Shawa American Story. This is an interesting game because it's basically set in America in the future. And it's post-apocalyptic, but it's also like dystopian. And America has become a colony of Japan. Japan has gotten so big, and as you might imagine, this is a Japanese game, and they kind of predict that this will happen in the future where America will be a colony of Japan. So they show a lot of imagery in this trailer of billboards that are written in Japanese, but they have, like a picture of the Statue of Liberty, but and it's still called New York, but there's Japanese writing on the billboards. They even have a thing kind of, I don't know if it's poking fun at Trump or what, but it says "Make America Great Again," and it has like this guy with a suit on, but he has a space helmet on, and he's like pointing. And I don't know if maybe that's part of the game. I'm not sure, but a big part of the game looks like you play this like female protagonist who just kills people, basically. Well, zombies. She's going through and she's killing all these zombies, and it's just one of those games where you're just killing mass amounts of enemies, just throwing your sword around and just killing mass amounts. I don't know what they call that exactly. I'm sure there's a term for it. Pretty much the basic premise of how the game is played. All right, next bit of news here. Amazon's Fallout TV show we already knew about this, right? We knew that Amazon was working on a Fallout TV show, but now we get official word, that it's continuing, that production is on. Back in 2020, I think it was July of 2020, was when we first learned about this, and by then, that was 2 years ago almost. It was a year and a half ago, where we were getting a little ahead of ourselves. And a lot of people were guessing, oh, well, if it's being worked on now, we just found out about it, it'll probably be out by 2022. Well, joke's on us, because it just started production, 2022. So now they're saying it might be 2024, somewhere around there, before we actually see this game. What I found interesting, though, in this latest bit of news about this Fallout TV show, is that they hired Graham Wagner, who he was a writer and producer for a lot of different comedy TV shows like Silicon Valley, Portlandia, and my favorite of all time is The Office, the US version of The Office. So, I mean, Fallout, the game itself, the whole series has had a really great sense of humor. It's always had a sense of humor. It's had kind of an ironic sense of humor. So does that mean that they're going to bring in Graham Wagner to kind of add that sense of humor from The Office and Portlandia and Silicon Valley? Like, is he going to kind of bring that in and make that the main type of humor in this game? I hope so. I do hope so. Although I really like the humor of Fallout. It's not exactly the same as Portlandia and The Office, but it'll be interesting to see how that works out, the satire side of that. Other than that, though, there's not a lot of news on this. They pretty much named the same people who we already knew were working on it, Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. They run a company called Kilter Films, and they worked on Westworld, which is, they're still working on Westworld. Season 4 is coming out soon. So the Kilter Films is working on this with Bethesda. They're working straight with Bethesda, straight with Todd Howard. Todd Howard, of course, is the executive producer, the producer of Fallout, the Fallout series, and he will be the executive producer on this show as well. Amazon, I don't know. Amazon it's been pretty good about shows. They're really stepping up their game lately. I think they're realizing that the money is in original content. Netflix and Hulu have pretty much shown the world that that's true in the last couple of years. So now we have everybody doing that. Everybody's kind of making their own original content, and I'm excited by it. I think Amazon is stretching itself pretty thinly lately. They made the New World, that MMO, and it's a pretty good game. I've been playing it a lot. You either love it or hate it, but it's an MMO, and that's how that goes with MMOs. You either love them or hate them. But it's a success, I would say. It sold tons, millions of copies, I imagine. I think I heard that when it first came out, it was like at least 1 million. So that's Amazon's game, division, Prime Gaming. And then we have the original movies that they've worked on that have been out recently. I mean, even post-apocalyptic ones like the Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt, which is one of our nominees for Best of 2021, was an original Amazon movie. Great movie, So they definitely hit it out of the park with that one. But can they continue that? We also have the Lord of the Rings TV show that's supposed to be coming out from Amazon. Not post-apocalyptic. Well, it is post-apocalyptic, but not, it doesn't feel like it. So they have that they're working on, which is supposed to be completely epic. And then they have the Fallout stuff. Like, they're really going big. They're soaking up these huge IPs and they're going big. And I just hope it works out. I hope that by 2023, 2024, when this comes out, that Amazon really has their stuff together to the point where this is a really epic show. That's what I'm hoping. Because it can be. The Fallout world, Fallout universe is just incredible. So we'll see how that goes. All right, next little bit of news here is, this is one that I don't know too much about Attack on Titan. And I think we've established that. Every time, when we did the show before with Derek and Stephanie on here, Stephanie is the guru. She's the Attack on Titan guru. And Derek knows it quite well too. They watch it together. But the big news here, of course, is that season 4, episode 17 is out. It just came out. And this is a big deal. This is, not only is it a big deal for fans, like in general, but it's also a big deal for people who thought the show was going to be over. Because this is like the second part of season 4. And this is basically, I'm going to tell you everything I understand about this. Not of the show itself, because I've seen one episode, but I'm going to tell you everything I know about the situation that the show is in right now. They had season 4, a part 1 of season 4, and this is, it's not that strange. This is what Walking Dead does this, and a couple other shows. So they had the part 1. A lot of people thought that was it, but then they were like, well, no, it can't be it, because there's more in the manga, right? There's more story to be told in the manga. So then they started calling it season 4 part 2. That's one way. So there's basically 3 different ways to refer to this latest chunk of anime. So we have season 4 part 2. You can also call it season 4 episode 17. Or you can call it just Attack on Titan. I think it's episode 76, something like that. It's like, episode 76. So you can call it, so 76 is like overall. So you can call it season 4, episode 17, episode 76, or season 4, part 2. Got it? Hopefully that all made sense to you. But of course, the point of this is that they have, the new episodes out. Stephanie's going crazy over it. And rightfully so. It's exciting news for fans of the show. Our Discord, we have an Attack on Titan Discord channel, and in that room, there's a lot of talk. A lot of people are really getting excited talking about the show. So if you're an Attack on Titan fan and you want to talk with other fans, head over to our Discord. We'll put a link to it in the notes for today. But it's a great place to talk. A lot of people are asking, how can I see this? That's like the number one thing that people ask in Discord, is they say, how can I watch this for free? How can I, I don't want to subscribe to Crunchyroll or Hulu or whatever. Well, pretty much the best way to do it, I'll tell you the secret. This is a big secret here. Ready? Get a Hulu free trial. There you go. Now, what you could do is you could get a Hulu free trial and watch, the latest episode, or you can wait a little while, get the Hulu free trial, and try to watch all of them after they're all done. After the season is done, watch them all at one time. So there you go. That's pretty much how I do a lot of shows, is free trials. It's a good time. Anyway, let's go on to our next little bit of news. This is a big one that I am personally excited about. I just got done talking about Attack on Titan, which I don't know a lot about. But this one I know a lot about, and that's Snowpiercer Season 3. Snowpiercer has been kind of I don't know how to explain it. It's like an underdog, I think when it first came out, people were like, oh, is it going to be like the movie? And then it wasn't like the movie, really. It just had a train, but it didn't have the same characters. So people were like, okay, well, it's not like the movie, so I'm not going to watch it. But then it got really big. Then people started figuring out and finding out that it's a great story, and it's very, I don't know. It's just an intriguing story. So I've been following it. I've been doing write-ups and recaps on this since season 1, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to write them on, the same types of articles on season 3, and that is coming out really soon. Let's see, it's 24th. Yeah, so that's like 2 weeks away, something like that. Season 3, it's going to be on TNT. Now, here's the big thing about season 3. And if you haven't seen any of Snowpiercer at all, I guess I could say that there's a little bit of spoilers here. Although if you watch this trailer, it gives away a lot. So I won't really go beyond this trailer. Well, I don't really know anything beyond this trailer, but this trailer has some spoilers if you haven't seen season 1 or 2. So here's the thing. So season 1 was on the train, right? They're all trying to live together on the train. They're trying to figure out what's going on, like how, they're surviving. They're basically thinking that they're the only survivors on Earth. They're on this perpetual motion train that can't stop, and if it does, they'll freeze to death because outside is insanity cold, right? So that's season 1. Season 2 is kind of more about the interpersonal struggles. We get to see Mr. Wilford, the guy who made the train, who we thought was not there. We thought that Melanie was kind of the replacement for Mr. Wilford. We thought that she was saying that Mr. Wilford told her things, and it actually turned out to be her just making stuff up. Then we find out in season 2, like what that's all about, like how that happened. Well, and then we see Mr. Wilford, who of course is played by the incredible Sean Bean, right? And he hasn't died yet, which is strange. Usually Sean Bean dies pretty early in his shows. So he's in season 3. That's kind of a surprise. I just thought about that. So here we are in season 3. We don't know where Melanie is because she left the train. And she went to the research center to try to figure out, is there life past this train? Can we survive? Is the parts of the Earth are starting to warm up? Like, is it possible? Like, she sent out these weather balloons. Is it possible that there's a warm area? Well, we see in this trailer that there are warm areas. We see trees, we see grass, we see, ground that's not covered in snow. And that's a big deal. And does it mean that they're going to get off the train and live and make a colony, and then it wouldn't be Snowpiercer anymore, right? Then it would just be like every other survival movie of its kind, which I'm not complaining about. I love that kind of stuff. But it would be a totally different direction. Now, here's why I think they might actually do that, especially if they go into a season 4. We have 2 trains. During season 2, one part of the train broke off, and of course Leighton is in that one. I think there's like 18 people left in this one, if I remember correctly, in this little train. And then we have the big train, of course. Mr. Wilford's still on there. He's still running things over there. So here's my theory, or here's my prediction, is that the small train with Leighton and Till and those people are it's going to find this warm area, and it's going to stop, basically, and it's going to research this, and it's going to try to figure out how to rebuild society without being on a moving train, constantly on a moving train. But at the same time, I think Mr. Wilford's still going to hold on to his train. He's still going to hold on to his legacy and this thing that he built, and his where he has all of his power. He's not going to want to give that up. So I think season 3 into season 4 is probably going to be a lot of that. It's going to be the back and forth between the I hate to use a a reference to the 100, but it's going to be the grounders. It's going to be the people who are on the ground versus the trainers, the people who are on the train on Snowpiercer. So yeah, I think that's where it's going to go, which would really make for a much, I don't know, it'd be a more vast, world building type of exercise to dive into that. And I'd be excited to see that. So yeah, I'm all about Snowpiercer. I like Snowpiercer more. I read about Walking Dead too, and I would say that I like Snowpiercer more than Walking Dead. So yeah, you can expect me to be writing a lot more about Snowpiercer once it comes out, season 3. I might even do, now don't hold me to this, although I'm recording it right now, but I might even do spoiler specials for that, like I did for Walking Dead last season, last year. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Would that be interesting to you Snowpiercer fans out there if I did a separate little podcast that was just talking about the episode and just, I mean, you know me, right? I can go on and on about a topic, right? I can go on and on about any topic. So I might just do that. We'll see. But yeah. And then other than that, the site, we have a few other articles on the site that you should definitely check out. Like if I don't talk about everything here on the podcast, but we have an interview with the winner from our short story contest, and we had at the end of the year we had a short story contest. It started in September, went on a few months, and we had quite a few entries, like more than we thought we would. And so the number, we gave a prize for number 1, 2, and 3, the first, second, and third place winners, which were just all amazing, really amazing stories. I really enjoyed them. And we posted those. So those are on the site if you want to read those. And I did an interview with the winner, the first place winner. His name is, now I'm going to totally butcher this, but I think it's Stefan de Coster. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It looks like it. But I did an interview with him. I'd love to get him on the podcast. I'm not sure if he would be open to that, but the interview is great. He explains a little bit more about what his story's about, his influences, and then I find out, this is crazy to me, I find out during the interview that he is actually friends in real life with the third place winner. So that's what's funny about it is it's kind of crazy. I mean, we got almost 20 entries, if I remember correctly. A couple of them didn't qualify. A couple of them were late or didn't, stick to the theme. But there were, so as far as qualifying entries, I think there were 15. But to be almost 20 full entries and then have 2 of the top 3 be friends in real life, I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but if you think about it, it's not that unusual. He says in the interview that they helped each other out. Like they were kind of critique partners, and then they looked over each other's work and everything. Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's why they both did so well. So that part of it makes sense. It's just a little surprising. All right, and then so I did the YouTube roundup today, or a little earlier today. That is always fun because this week was a lot of trailers, a lot of game trailers. I talked about them, on this show already. But there's also a nice video from Wasteland Weekend 2021, just was, 3 months ago. That is a fun little video. It's like 24 minutes of just showing a lot of the great stuff that happens at Wasteland Weekend. So that's a lot of fun. And then of course, Stephanie wrote 250,000 articles on Attack on Titan. I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's maybe 240,000. But this is great. This is what I love about Stephanie's passion about about Attack on Titan. Can't even say it. Is that she made an article called "How Many Episodes Are Left in Season 4." She talks about. She does a review. She does a an article like, what do I do if Crunchyroll and Funimation crash during Attack on Titan? Like, that's an article. It's great. How do I watch Attack on Titan? What time does Attack on Titan come out? So she really did a lot of, full force on Attack on Titan stuff. And then Tina wrote a recap and review of The Expanse, season 6, episode 5. She's been following and covering that show quite a bit. Every episode she's been doing a review and a recap. So if that's your show, check that out. And that's about it. There's a couple little news tidbits that I don't cover here on the podcast. So, you can go to our front page at postapocalyptic.com and kind of check that out. It's a new year, so we're going to be renewing a lot of our lists. Like I said, Stephanie did the best upcoming TV shows to look forward to. I'm going to do movies. We're going to do, things to look forward to on Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's beginning of a new year, and a lot of new content coming on the site. Really excited about it. One other thing I want to talk about too, speaking of content on the site, is there's this new thing we started called the Apocalypse. And this is actually run by Bill, who we've had on the show a couple times. The Apocalypse is as you might think, it's a list. It's a great name, actually, Apocalypse. It's a list of apocalyptic media. So, and it's kind of user driven. You can get on the Apocalypse and you can enter in, if you're an author, you make movies, you make podcasts, whatever it is, you can go on there, you can upload a photo, like your cover photo or whatever it is of your, whatever media you work on. And we have a random thing on the sidebar where it just kind of highlights and spotlights these works of media. So right now I'm looking at, like, this is random, but so I loaded an article. I clicked on an article, and on the sidebar it has Apocalypse Business of the Day, and it has a cover photo from David Kazi's Shadows, which is American Midnight Book 1. So it has that. You can click on it, and then it'll take you to a more detailed page from our list, which will tell you a little bio about David Kazi himself, and then other books he's worked on. It's kind of like this slideshow. It has a website link. So this is a way, where you can promote your stuff in this big list. If you are a content creator in this genre, definitely, I think you should check it out. And all you do is, when you go to postapocalyptic.com, just click on any of the articles. You can click on, the first one up at the top bar, whatever you want to do. And right there on the right-hand sidebar, down under our calendar, a little bit down under the calendar, it says Apocalypse, and then it has the, the business of the day right there. So click on Apocalypse, and it'll take you to the main list, the main directory hub thing. And then you can just fill out, what you can do is you can put, click on add listing, and then you fill it out right there, and then that will add you to our list. And we're trying to get this list to be a huge, huge thing. This huge thing that is a comprehensive, all-in-one list of all post-apocalyptic media. So that's the goal with this. But you can just scroll through here. You can sort by different things like newest, oldest, listing, title, description, all that kind of stuff, and just sort through all this stuff and see books. Like, I'm just looking through this right now. Books everywhere. There's a Reddit group. There's there's all kinds of stuff. There's podcasts galore. I need to get some of these podcast people on this one, right? It's really cool. It's a really great list. If you want to add yourself, like I said, just go through those steps. Just click on it and put add listing, and you can do it yourself. You don't have to wait for us to do it. You just do it. We do, of course, have to okay the listing. We can't just be putting like porn on here or anything. So once you do that, we have to look at it, and then we approve it. But it's pretty easy, pretty comprehensive. So yeah, that's our site. That's what's been going on with our site, and we have our calendar right above that on every page. Right now it lists Snowpiercer Season 3, January 24th. All of Us Dead, which is the Netflix show that's coming on the 28th of January. In February, there's Raised by Wolves Season 2, which will be on February 3rd. Dying Light 2 comes out on February 4th. Moonfall comes out on February 4th. Last Survivors, that's coming out on February 4th. That's the one with Alicia Silverstone that seems like a pretty good movie. So yeah, there's a lot coming up, and that's just the next couple weeks. Of course, I like to talk about the upcoming stuff, so I'll talk about that, the stuff after that next week, right? All right, so I hope you all enjoyed this show. I hope you were informed and maybe mildly entertained. But I thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. And again, check us out on social media. Check us out at postapocalyptic.com. And as always, stay alive out there and always be ready for the big one. Bye-bye.